aggravated bleeding or crimson dance. So now it's like one of the problems or one of the questions that we have with Gladiator. The problem is that we don't really know how to build it. I'm gonna need to wait honestly for POV to update and check the different trees. But I have some ideas. I just want to share with you my questions, my doubts, what I think is the final answer. But that's why I don't have a POV about Gladiator, even though I've been playing Lacerate in the past, is because I don't want to bait anyone into a wrong conclusion based on just hypothesis, okay? So when I share here what we think is gonna be the right answer, or what both routes provide you, Crimson Dance or Aggravated Bleeding, and then you'll decide, or we try to understand this better, and after testing we'll come to the conclusion, right? Because to me, making a POV without even doing like a Boyston run or something like that, I don't know, like in practice it's gonna be fine, but I always hate it because I've been baiting in the past where, oh yeah, the damage is gonna be 200% more, right? Then I get to the release and the damage is trash, the defenses are non-existent, the mana sucks, right? And it's about feeling. So let's get into it. Again, I'm not giving the definitive answers. In fact, I'm gonna put more downs into you, but that's good, because when you see a POV, you're gonna know what's going on. Shut up, Jack the Axe. I have Jack the Axe in the background. Can you shut up? And Jack the Axe, good weapon, okay, for this patch. Anyway, Q&A. Finally, Crimson Dance works with Aggravate. No, it doesn't. Aggravate, you do an extra damage after applying a bleeding. You apply bleeding, and then that bleeding you aggravate it. You do damage from the initial bleeding, and you damage from the aggravated one. You apply a better bleeding, you will refresh the bleeding or replace the initial bleeding, but not aggravated. Okay, that's more or less how it works. So you do 100 damage bleed, and then you aggravate it. Someone is bleeding, a mob is bleeding 100 damage per second, and then you aggravate that by an effect that we're gonna discuss that. For example, it's on a tree or in the Gladiator Ascendancy. You will feed 200 more. 100 and then 200. You apply the bleeding for 150, you replace with the 100, but the 200 will stick. So the question is, which one is better, right? Which one will provide us with more damage? Crimson Dance, you apply it bleedings, but you do less damage. Or Aggravated, that is like one bleeding and then one extra damage bleeding, right? So again, I don't have all the answers, but as far as I understand, for example, to me, Laser of Hemorrhage, when I saw the patch notes, Laser of Hemorrhage is no-brainer. Even before that, people were saying, what's the way to build Gladiator? And I was like, bow Gladiator, blah, blah. I was telling already people, in 324, Laser of Hemorrhage is, for the standards of Gladiator, in 324, like, unplayable, literally unplayable class. Laser of Hemorrhage was pretty decent, right? And it's getting buff. It's getting buff, as you can see in the patch notes. So, Laser of Hemorrhage seems a no-brainer. Some people say also Shield Throw. I think Shield Throw is going to have a better cleaning. It's going to feel more comfy. But maybe the one target Lacerate is better. Even if they replace the flat damage, you can see here, that adds 100 to 176 physical. That's gone. Now it just has more effectiveness. But it compensates well enough. In any case, that's why one of the reasons I don't want to tell you is this or another. But when I take Lacerate of Hemorrhage, like the compass here, okay? Because I think it's the best skill for this. With Lacerate of Hemorrhage, you attack fast, right? Let me see if I go into a map and have everything up. If I die, don't blame me. 324 glad, okay? We're talking about here, like, the bottom of the... See how fast I attack, even without the Gladiator yet? This is a tier 17, I don't even have it. I don't know what mods there are, okay? Just for the speculation here. Like, I was doing well with this cutter. Even that doesn't look right now super good. Obviously, the damage sucks. We don't have the new Gladiator. We don't have the new... But you know, I was killing Harvest in tier 16s. You know? Then I died to one of them. Feels bad, man. Unlucky, you know? One of these fuckers Harvest just one-shot me when I had the very good defenses. But that's a problem that I'm gonna get into later, perhaps. The fact that Gladiator never feels like, or at least in the past, never feel like, okay, I'm tanky enough that I can tank anything, like a Juggernaut or whatever. It never feels that way. But you can see attack fast, right? You can say that this is not a slam build at least. maybe it's not the most comfy build, but I still found hardcore Gladiator in a patch that the Gladiator was bad. I'm gonna do better than this in this new, hopefully, right? In this new patch, okay? It's just a compass of, what's that? Ooh, holy shit. Okay, this is perfect for this video. Because Shimoji and Jack the Axe are gonna be what we're gonna play, okay? In next new patch. But again, I don't wanna get... Okay, what a coincidence. We're blessed, dude. This is a sign, right? It's a sign of prosperity, Shimoji. Anyway, as you can see, it's fast. Why is that important? Right? We don't lose attack speed from the endurance charges, from the arena challenge charges, but we're getting the survival, right? Inherent bonuses from dual wheel are double. That's attack speed and block. So that's one way we're gonna get that attack speed back, right? And why is this important? Because as far as I understand, Crimson Dance, as long as you can apply 8, in fact, as long as you can apply 6 bleedings fast or faster than you can apply the aggravated, already worth it, right? So, as is my understanding that you can apply bleedings fast, Crimson Dance is gonna be better. Okay, people are talking about Aggravate now because it's the new thing, but let's read Aggravate, right? Let's read Aggravate, for example, here. Chance to aggravate when you hit with exert attacks. Attacks with aggravating bleeding on targets. Sorry. Chance to apply bleeding on targets when you stun, right? Like, you check the aggravate masteries, right? Or the aggravate nodes on the tree. You check them. It like gives you the impression, right? It gives you the impression that you need to do a very big hit, like for example with an exert attack, right? And then you apply the aggravating more efficiently, right? So if you do the reversal engineering here, it sounds like the devs want you, if you go fast, Crimson Dance, and you go slow, you go like 2 big hits or 1 big slam, maybe you can go aggravate with the slams, with exerted attacks, right? Maybe not even with Glad, with Thirker, and with a 200 you do a 1 big aggravate bleeding and just blow up the enemy, right? Now it comes into Glad, okay? All I've been saying about aggravated, that you need to apply 1 bleeding and then aggravate it. With the Glad, that's gone. With the Glad, you can aggravate right away with the first hit. All your bleeding is aggravated. So with the Glad, will make sense to go with a 200 slam and go for that. My problem is like, A, slams are like slower. B, it forces you to go 200. No, it forces you to 200. Now maybe there's some wheel again without PV is hard, but maybe you can go dual wheel and the slam is still good enough. But it will be better with dual wheel just to go lacerate. If you go dual wheel, there's a lot of problems. What you're gonna do? War of attrition, I guess, and then retaliation, and you're gonna give up on the determined survivor, perhaps, right? It gives you doubts like that. Also, 200. One of the problems of the Glad right now, or honestly historically, the problem of the Glad, this Glad I have right here is shows that, right? As you can see, I butchered this Glad. Like I don't even have all the. This belt is shouldn't be the belt, okay? I had something else. But again, I rescued this cutter from the can, right? Like one of the problems that you never feel like you are tanky enough. You feel like the DPS is a problem, right? In the sense that you need to allocate too many points, and then you don't have enough for the other things that melee needs. What does melee needs? Melee needs obviously defenses, right? Physical and elemental, also chaos. You need a leech or a life regen, you need some sustain. Are you gonna go suppression? Are you gonna go extra mitigation? Fortify, no fortify? All these things with other classes, with other ascendancies, with other archetypes really, are a bit more figured out. With the Glad, it's a bit like, do you go block? Do you go for leeching, right? You go leech? Or do you go life regen? So, how I understand it, you can go for 200, aggravate bleedings. You can aggravate them, any bleeding on targets, which all the 4 seconds. So you can aggravate with the aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with exert attacks, right? A big slam. you can go that route. Maybe you can exert a Blaze Storm. Maybe you could do one big Blaze Storm exerted, right? With a two-handed sword, wouldn't be that bad. And then ignore Crimson Dance and ignore the Crimson Dance and the Lacerate. But again, comes into the questions of, okay, you go two-handed, then Swords is gonna give you Weapon Mastery, Accuracy Rating. Do you really wanna go with Bleeding Precision Techniques? Doesn't make sense, right? You kinda wanna go Resolute Technique, right? Then, how the defense is gonna be without blocking, right? Are you gonna just stack endurance charges, fortify, and that's it? You don't have another layer of defense? You'll have to go Suppression. That's a big problem, going Suppression. These three, as you can see, I don't have Suppression. I'm trying to go no Suppression. That is kind of like the new meta with endurance charges. But again, I need to build it, I need to see. It's not the topic for this, right? But it gives you a lot of doubts. Whereas, as far as I understand it, and this is how I see it right now, tell me what you guys think. Your Crimson Dance, you can go dual wielding. Dual wielding gives you the block. You can go extra block, or you can go with the Weapon Mastery, with the more damage with hits versus low life, which is better than people think. But you can go with more than a skill for having that extra layer. So you can block spell damage, and you don't need Suppression, and you go endurance charges. When you remove this, you go this, and you go for a route with Suppression, for example, right? It feels like more natural, because Crimson Dance, in theory, right, you're gonna do 8 more, but they do 50% less. As long as you apply it that fast with Lacerate, even with Blaze Storm, even with Shield Throw. Shield Throw applies them very fast because it's the projectile, it hits, the shards spread. Like, bleed skills, the good ones, are meant to hit multiple times. And this is what I've been thinking all these days, that I don't think you want to do Aggravate one big bleed when the best bleeding wheels, right? When the best bleeding wheels are all about applying multiple bleeds fast, right? That's how the bleeding used to work. Now, one big Blaze Storm, maybe Blaze Storm Raid Borders, I don't know, that's a bit complicated, honestly. With Rage being nerf and everything. Maybe you can go Berserk, Exarting, big bleeds, use the Mastery, ignore the Jagged technique of Glad and go Berserk. Maybe you can go Scion, Aggravate bleeding. When you block for Equip Seal, maybe you can go with some one-handed and Seal with Scion. Scion is super interesting right now. Scion, okay, one endurance charge is there, and you scale endurance charges with Accuracy. Maybe Accuracy you don't want it, right? Maybe you don't want it. But the Gladiator of the Scion is particularly interesting, so maybe you can go one route like that. But are you really gonna go two-handed with a Gladiator? Ignore the block? Are you gonna go dual wheel, exerting attacks? Maybe it's a way, right? Dual wheel, exert attacks, but exert attacks are slow. Where are you gonna get the life leads? One of the reasons I have Lacerate is like, works very well with Jack the Axe. Thirst for Blood. Okay. Maybe you guys don't see here. Let me hide myself, fuck it. Thirst for Blood, right? Regenerate 400 life per second for its affected enemy, right? Cause a bleeding fleet to be stronger and grant life regeneration based on the number of bleedies enemies nearby. Even versus one target, going from no regen, right, to apply 8 times 400, it's already good regen, no? Is it not good regen? Come on. Now, if you go slams, you go one big hit, you wanna be applying that. What weapon are you gonna use, right? Maybe some 200 sword. What is gonna be your regen? You're gonna start leeching with the problematic that has. You're gonna go Bile Pact like a Slayer, and you're gonna go for life regen. I ain't going life regen already. Where I'm not here. Oh yeah, not here, but here I think I put some points to go life regen, just to have some more sustain. Like, and you go into configuration in a map. Again, it's very easy when you are hitting enemies before they die to have, I don't know, Thirst for Blood. See, like 10 bleeding enemies. 5 bleeding enemies. It seems like it has a cap, no? It has a cap, right? The cap is 4? I didn't know it was a soft cap. It's 5. Am I stupid? I never know why this is a cap. Anyway, like, it seems like everything that Glad has to offer you, and this is just my interpretation, right? I'll show you the two ways. Is that you want Crimson Dance for speed, for sustain, for blocking. Now, maybe that dual wheel, exerting attacks, one big hit, super excited. With the risk glad Berserk maybe chieftain and with the Warcries, I don't see it, but man, the meta is so weird that maybe you want to do that, but hey, it's not my style. I don't want to do big slams with a gladiator or with bleeding. But I know, I just thought I would say that, right? Those two options. I think that's the problematics it brings instead of fences, and if the fences change with each build too. I'm gonna go digging a bit more in the defenses and maybe make a bit video about what type of defenses you want in a glad. Okay, you wanna go block. I think you wanna go block. I wasn't going for more than a skill because it was like, block is fine, but you need to block once, right? If you don't block once, because the block is lucky is good, but you need to block first, right? So for that to happen, you need to get hit first, right? Or no, you don't need to get hit, but sometimes you're gonna, instead of block it, you have 65% chance because of versatile. Sometimes you're gonna see block chance 65 there. Sometimes you're gonna get hit. 1 in 3, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna block. You need to sustain that block. That's the problem. Or that hit. That's the problem of block, right? When you don't block, you need to still sustain it. Block is good versus small hits, not versus big hits versus bosses. So I was thinking, well, if you go for this, then versus bossing is gonna be worse. This is gonna be better in mapping, which is kind of true. But maybe I try to go for this, try to go full armor and endurance charges for elemental, and then I will be able to sustain that big hit. And once you block once, then it's gonna be lucky. It's gonna be lucky, right? That block. So you block once, right? 65% chance. All the time it's gonna be like what, 93, 94, 98% chance, which you're gonna be fine, right? And mitigate a lot of damage that way. So I'm gonna dig into that. I know. Tell me what you guys think. Crimson Dawn versus the new bleeding. Again, it feels weird because this is the thing they give us new, and you kinda like get baited into doing that new thing because hey, it's new, it's gonna be more powerful, right? But history has taught us in PoE that it's not always the case that the new way is better than the old one. If not just, check the physical to fire fucking nodes that are trash, right? So I know, I just think like I'm pretty sure that this is the way, and until I have a POV I can confirm, until I don't keep digging and keep updated and make this work or not work, because the POV doesn't really work that well. It changes because of this alone, okay? This doesn't yet work. Until then, I don't have the proof, but this is my conviction, okay? Now, don't get baited. Don't go Crimson Dance because I tell you so. Just be aware of those two ways of building the glad. Crimson, fast attacks. You have Jack the Axe for leeching, right? Suppression, no suppression. Or one big hit, one big slam. Aggravate. Whether it's glad with Jagged technique or not glad with the masteries. Tell me what you guys think. See you in the next one.